Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where I talk about Walmart and answer any questions you may have about Walmart. Let's go!
What's going on? What's going on, everyone? This video is be careful um, what YouTuber you watch on YouTube. Like if you're a new driver coming into trucking and you start seeing, these truck drivers with saying, yeah, I'm making a lot of money, I'm making a decent living. Well, you got to pay attention to where do they live? Do they live in Alabama? Do they live in Salt Lake City? Do they live in New York City? Do they live in Wisconsin, Minnesota? A lot of money, it depends where you live, and how much your expenses are. So, first thing I would say, if you're new to driving and you're coming into driving, lower your expectations. When people say that they're making $5,000 a week, don't come into this thinking that you're gonna make $5,000 a week. Eventually you will, but first year, just save as much as you can. Okay. You follow a lot of YouTubers, and yes, they talk about how nice life is. They're home, they're doing nothing, they don't complain about money and things like that. Well, some YouTubers you follow have other sources of income. Okay, they're not just truckers on YouTube. They do other things on the side that they don't talk about. Some of the YouTubers you follow have paid off houses. They don't have kids. They don't have a wife. They live in the truck. They live in somewhere where the cost of living is really cheap, and you could live with $1,000 a week or things like that. So you have to take into consideration where you live and how much expenses you have. Okay, just what I would say, if you're gonna work company, you're gonna make about $1,000 a week, fresh off the start on a good week. If you're gonna lease a truck, think about $1,500 a week. Stop paying attention to everybody saying they make $5,000. You're gonna make it maybe 1 week of the month or maybe a week here and there. But right now, you're coming into trucking, you're looking into YouTube channels, trying to figure out what company to go to, and you're trying to figure out, hey, this guy's doing great, he's making all this money. That doesn't mean that's gonna be your experience at that company. Everybody has different experiences in the company, and most of the times when there's a YouTuber that's big in YouTube that works for a company, they get treated well because they are the face of the company. Okay, the best bet, talk to people outside of YouTube at the truck stops, ask them how they're doing. If they tell you, oh, I made this much, ask them, you gotta ask, okay, is that how much the truck revenue, or is that how much you're bringing home? It's a 1099 or it's a W-2? Do you have any benefits, or do they not have any benefits? Most of the truckers, and you guys know, all you lease operators will tell you, oh yeah, I made $8,000 this week. It's not what you made, it's what the truck revenue. And out of that, you gotta take expenses, fuel, taxes, all that stuff out of there. In reality, you can't believe everything you see on YouTube. If you want to be a truck driver, go ahead, do it. It's nothing bad. You just gotta come into it with realistic expectations of the job. You're gonna lease a truck, expect to get $1,500. If you can make more, great. If you make less, you gotta work on it. But remember, if you're leasing a truck, that $1,500 is 1099. So now out of that $1,500, take away, let's say $300 in taxes. Let's say you need health insurance because your wife doesn't work at home, or you don't have a wife, or you don't have any way to get more health insurance. So take out another $200. That leaves you with $1,000. Out of that $1,000, you gotta pay the food that you eat on the road, because you're gonna eat on the road unless you're gonna do groceries. So that's maybe $200, and so you'll be making $800 a week after taxes, health insurance, and groceries. Okay. If you're living okay now at home, making $1,200 every day after taxes, I would stay in that job. There's nothing to look for out here on the road. Maybe experience, but it doesn't matter. You could do experience at home as long as you're driving a truck. Like some of those food delivery guys, they're making I see them make from $1,300 to $2,000 a week. Depends on the shift. Depend on many things. So you could make money locally. Again, you're probably not gonna make what everybody tells you you're gonna make over the road, $5,000, $6,000 a week. It's not realistic right now. So I just want you guys to know, if you're new and you're coming into trucking, lower your expectations. Just lower your expectations. When you start making a little bit of money, save your money, try to keep your cost of living low, and that's how you become successful. Once you don't have the stress of bills, you can focus on trucking and have a better experience and a better career out of trucking. So I don't know, that's just something I was thinking about today, because I get a lot of people that contact me because I drove for Prime, and they ask me, how much money can I make? How much money can I make? I mean, I don't want to tell you you're going to make $3,000. I don't, because it's not realistic. I got friends that work at Prime, and they're making, I'm going to say, an average of $1,500 a week. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, sometimes even negative. So, and I'm only talking about Prime because that's the only company I drove for besides Stevens, and I was only there for 6 months. I'm sure other companies probably the same or worse. I don't know. But I'm only talking about Prime because that's where my friends work and that's where I used to work. So if you're watching YouTube videos from 4 years ago, delete them. Don't watch them, because that money is never coming back. You're going to be thinking, oh my God, they made $5,000 a week, every week. 4 years ago, maybe. Now, no, not even training. I got friends that are training and not even making that. So coming into trucking, be careful what YouTuber you follow. Pay attention where they live. Pay attention on their financial situation. They'll talk about, some people say like, oh yeah, my house is paid off. Or you know what? Your house might not be paid off. So he could live with less money than you because he got less expenses. So, if they live in Alabama, I'm sure their rent is probably $700 compared to you living in a city, just $2,000, $2,500. Just focus on your bills, try to keep them as low as you can when you start trucking, and that will keep you stress-free on the road, and you can focus on the job and make more money at the end. So be good, be safe, don't do anything I wouldn't do. I'm out.